Hi there, this video will show you how to create a text search query in NVivo for Windows. You could use a text search query to search for specific words or phrases in your textual sources. You can use it as a way to explore your data for emerging themes. It can also be used to support a more linguistic analysis of the way your respondents use language. You can save the results to a node, which means that you can use the text search to code. But you shouldn't really use it as a quick and dirty way to do your coding. You'll need to carefully review any coding done by the means of a text search query before relying on the node for your analysis. So I want to see if any of the respondents talk about pollution and the quality of water in the area. Let's see what the query wizard has to offer. The first option will help us with this. To see where particular terms occur in context, I'll choose that option and click Next. In the Search For box, I type the words I want to find. Because I want to search the phrase water quality, I need to put the phrase within double quotation marks, so NVivo knows that I'm seeking the whole phrase, not instances of either word alone. I also want to search the word pollution, so in the special drop-down box I select OR and then type pollution. The default text search is an OR, so I do not need to add the OR operator. I'll delete it to show you that it's not needed. You just need to have a space between the words or phrases if you're using the OR operator. I'll also add stormwater to the search. The default is set so that it will run the text search across all my sources, but I just want it to search the interviews. So I will select Items in Selected Folders and then tick the Interviews folder. Now I'll click Next. Since I'd like to just preview the result, I'll accept the default to run this query once and click Run. The results appear in Detail View with the summary displayed. This lists the items that include the words or phrases I've searched for. It tells me how many separate references or passages have these words. See, Barbara has the most references, 10. But this number should be used with caution, as a reference can have different sizes. It could be a line, or a sentence, or several sentences, or a paragraph. Likewise, the column for coverage should be interpreted with caution, as it refers to the percentage of the whole source that has this word by character count, and that would include the interviewer's words as well as the interviewee's words, and some interviewers may have talked more in one interview than in another. The reference view shows the words or phrases that you searched for in context. As I scroll down, I can see the words that it found. If I want to see more context, I can right-click over a passage and select Coding Context, and then select Broad. The default for broad context is the paragraph, and now I can see that passage in a wider context. The word tree shows the words in context as well. Each branch is a phrase that also appears on the Reference tab, but here the phrases are grouped together. You can change which word is in the centre of the tree just by clicking on the root term drop-down arrow. You'll see this drop-down only on the word tree on the ribbon, which will appear only when you're viewing the word tree. The default shows you 5 words on either side of the central word, but you can extend this context. You can drill down further by hovering over a phrase to see the source, or double-clicking a word, for example, issues, and it will now run a new text search based on that phrase. You can export the word tree by right-clicking over it. You can save it as a PDF or an image file. You can save the search expression itself. In the Detail View, there's a button on the right-hand side, Add to Project. This opens a dialog where you can save the query. I like to start my text search queries with the letters TS, and I'll call it Bad Water Quality. The query is saved in the query folder. Let me close it now and go to the query folder. I'm able to run this query again if I import more interviews, or I may decide to change the query in some way. I double-click to run the query and widen the scope so it will look at both interviews and news articles. Now another operator we could access through the special button is near. This would be a more restrictive search, and I would need to specify how near. If I want to code the results as a node, I may want it to code for more context first. To do this, in the detail view above the results is Spread To. You have the choice of spreading the coding to narrow context, which is 5 words either side of the word, or broad context, which is the paragraph. Now I'm ready to run the query. To save the results of a query, I click on the Save Results button in the detail view. I can choose to save the query result in the Results folder in the Query area, or click Select to store the results in my Nodes folder. Use caution here. If I save results in the Results folder, I won't be able to change the results, for example to uncode from it, and at times you'll want to do that to capture the results at a particular point in your study. But I want to be able to change these results, so I'll navigate to the Nodes area and save them here and name the new node TS_water pollution to distinguish this node as one that was created from a text search query. If I do so, I want to be sure to review the contents of this node and perhaps add a note to the description to remind myself that this node was created with an automated search, not my own careful interpretive reading of the text. I can always rename the node at a later time if I wish. Now it's your turn to run some text searches.